Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Yida as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen from an act named Zhang Hui Mei. That's the person who sung it. And then Zhang Yuxing did the lyrics and also composed it. This track is titled Water Blue Tears. So without further ado, we're going to listen through this track from start till finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Let's do it. That's a live performance. That's awesome.
Come on.
The jingly janglies on the guitar are pretty, man.
你看到什么？有没有一种令人心悸的醉了？就像夜空多少流星闪过，你抓不到一颗属于我的梦。后每一天
Bring those guitars back in with a smart move here.
像我席卷却不能够停留。后每一天枯坐在黑暗中，去对空杯问窗无穷虚空。Oh yeah.
I mean, like, it's got these kind of R&B bluesy undertones here, but the tone of that distorted bass kind of makes me think it's going to be sort of hard rockish, and that would be down Zhang Yuxing's alley. Although, to be fair, Zhang Yuxing does do a lot of other types of music as well, as per my album reviews of his work. But, you know, it's cool, man.
我真的好累，你为何不了解？Oh baby， 我的世界已经瓦解，水蓝色眼泪。
Oh, it's kind of classic rockish, isn't it? With some
心碎流的血是天真的谎言，水蓝色眼泪，融成一片雪，让我的忧伤都淹。
I mean, like, it's such fantastic presence on stage as well. Her vocal technique is solid, and there's great interaction with the crowd there. They seem like they're really into it. It's a really cool atmosphere, man.
蓝色的圈才毁了字眼，重要的重量产生一些音乐。你走过来，触边水珠飞溅，所有幻想遗忘一瞬间。后每一天如海浪般潮涌，向我席卷，却不能够停留。后每一天枯坐在黑暗中，去对空杯问穿无成虚空。Oh yeah。
I mean, like, there's a similar approach to the previous sections we've had there, and I'm liking the theme instantiated so far. It's pleasurable to listen to, and it sounds sultry and almost, it's very intriguing with these misty extended elements.
我真的好累，你为何不了解？
The addition of the organ at this point is a nice touch, a little bit of development.
Baby， 我的世界已经瓦解，水蓝色眼泪，心碎流的血是天真的幻灭，水蓝色眼泪，融成一片雪，让我的忧伤都淹。
Great triple fill on the drums there, man. Fantastic alternate fill.
心碎流的血，水蓝色眼泪，融成一片雪，让我的忧伤都淹。
Oh, he has to play the solo. This is so fucking cool, man. That was stunning, dude. The guitarist knew it was his moment as well. Did you see his facial expressions before he got into it? It was awesome, man. And not only that, not only was it an incredible guitar solo with a wide variety of techniques displayed, but you also had a fantastic chemistry with the drummer there. So tight with those really succulent concepts on the toms and snares, changes of grooves, some pregnant pauses there to instantiate a sense of like what's going to happen next. Things kind of came together, fell apart, kind of mingled and dispersed, and finally the guitar came out on top. And I kind of adore it, man. And for there just to be silenced to let the crowd take that all in is great. It's such a really vibrant change from what we've had previously, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I liked what we had before, but this is just a really fun way of and bringing it back in. That's it, buddy. Bring it in. Oh, it is a... Oh, that's so cool, man. How many people are involved in this? I think that was tremendous. I'm really satisfied with that. I'm thoroughly satisfied with it. I think they did an amazing job. For sure, man. I think that was great. Thank you to Yida for... hang on. Sorry. I'm not really sure what's happening here. It could... Is that... I'm not sure who that is. I'm going to go back. But before things become more chaotic, we of course have the lyrics section here with, again, Zhang Hui Mei with Water Blue Tears, lyrics and composer was Zhang Yuxing. So what lyrics do we have here? What do you see in my eyes? Is there a kind of heart-wrenching drop by the passing stars of the night sky? You can't catch a dream that belongs to me. Damn, dude. I mean, like, these lyrics are gorgeous, you know. They're obviously not particularly positive, you know. Baby, my world is broken into watery blue tears. Is the broken blood of the heart. It's the illusion of reality. All the water blue eyes tears melt into a snow. Let my sorrow sleep in winter. I mean, that's obviously... It's terrible, man. Blue springs paint the night, the falling weight churned out some music. It's not that the lyrics are terrible, it's just the situation they're describing is terrible, if that makes sense. And welcome to my conclusion of my review of this track from Zhang Hui Mei, composed and lyrics by Zhang Yuxing. This track titled Water Blue Tears. Now, what do I think this track is about? If I was gonna have a go at figuring out what this track is about, I would surmise that it was about someone who is looking at another, asking them to look into their eyes, going, do you see the pain and struggle that I'm going through in my eyes? You know, what do you see in my eyes? Like the passing stars of the night sky. You know, I'm so tired, why can't you figure it out? Every day we sit in the dark. You know, it's like rolling it at me but can't stop to stay. You know, maybe this person that keeps coming back to them and it's just painful having them in their life and they are unable to cope with that presence there. And they're basically, you know, I had this illusion of love being like this and things being better than this. You know, even if this inspired some music and helped me to figure out part of who I am and everything like that, your presence is still negative, and whenever you come near me, the illusion of having a happy future with you is dropped. That's basically my take on it. I don't know if I've gotten that right, and I'll take it on the chin if I haven't, because I'm a big boy and I can take criticism. But, you know, outside of that, I think that the lyrics, the performance from Zhang Hui Mei was tremendous. They are a sensational singer. They've got great vocal technique, phenomenal in their hidden voice range. They have fantastic vocal melodies there. and the harmonies, the backing singers were simply there to provide a foundation for her to sing on, even though they did tremendously well as well with their efforts on the sides of the stereo field and the choruses and such. But Zhang Hui Mei, they basically dominated the attention of the listener for the entirety of the time they were on stage. It was a captivating, alluring performance there, provocative and emotive, and I don't think they could have done anything differently to improve it. Furthermore, I feel as if this is an excellent example of how to pull off a live performance. There was phenomenal stage presence, and they interacted with the crowd in a way that was very organic and genuine. And I think, as a final note, it was fantastic that they also allowed the other instrumentalists, such as the guitarist and the drummer, to have their moment, their time in the sun. I think it's awesome to have that instrumental break, just so that it doesn't seem like an ego project. You're telling that story, but you can also allow other ingredients within the mix to help you to enact and enable that within a listener's mind. You don't need to do all the heavy lifting yourself, and maybe that was part of the composition there, Zhang Yuxing's input with his multi-instrumental stuff, but ultimately I'm just really satisfied with what we had here. It's a really good track, man. Really good track. What a blue tears. It did have those bluesy undertones. There were some pentatonic and bluesy scale implements here with some chromatics. I think the legato passages were sensational and the vocals were well done and sounded appropriate for the story being told. In addition to that, the track at 5 minutes 30, it was a longer track, I'm not going to lie, but at the same time I think that they used that real estate incredibly well. While a lot of tracks within the 2-4 minute space would typically have a few verses, a few choruses, maybe an interlude and kind of call it a day, we did not have this here. There was an instrumental intro with the vocals coming in later on. You know, we had like the bass line there with the guitars and drums brought in, and the keys as well, like the organs. We had guitar solos. There was tremendous solo passage there with drums keep kind of going along with it and instruments ducking in and out. And we just had so many other little sub ingredients there that filled in the mix and made it a lot more attractive to listen to and made you want to hear more. And the attention to detail there, as well as the gradual development throughout the composition in regards to the motif, is spectacular. It's stellar. I'm really happy with it. They did a great job with developing the thing, but not only the way each individual played was to its strengths. You know, we had a straight 4/4 rhythm for the most time. The drums keeping the groove going with 8s and 16ths, occasionally doing some 16th triplet fills there, showing some finesse, and then you think, oh, okay, things are gonna get spicier than that, and then they do with that drum solo there. They went inside the guitar solo, the bass line, thoroughly comfortable in that low range there, exploring the fretboard a little bit, not staying too well behaved, but at the same time there was a bit of fuzz in it, which indicated there'd be a bit of a bad boy anyway. So I dig the raunchiness of that bass tone. It was great. The guitars were relatively well behaved with their harmonies, whether extended or triads, until that solo section where the guy just shredded his ass off, and it was just phenomenal. It was an incredible performance and I was blown away by it. It was very much like a lot of the stuff I've heard from Zhang Yuxing. I can understand why it was written that way, and I can imagine that it wouldn't have been a particularly easy solo to play, but we smashed it because it wasn't just that it was technically difficult. It was also that you had a lot of feel behind it. There were these bends there, these interesting movements there. We had sort of hell bends and little pitch shifts and stuff like that, which are very nuanced, and it's very difficult to get that quite right. You kind of have to commit to the original vision whilst making it your own, and that's a very difficult thing to do, but I think the lead guitarist in this performance nailed it. The keys in that mid-range, sweetening up the existing progressions and harmonies that we had there to work alongside the vocalists in the background really well, as Zhang Hui Mei and everyone else. And anyone else there that wasn't necessarily a main focal point of the mix was providing more context for the track, filling it up, making it a little bit more sort of zazzy. And there were no harsh sort of chromatics or confusing or difficult situations going on with the note choices or the rhythms or anything like that. There was a stable sort of bluesy R&B-ish kind of groove, soulish groove that we had throughout, and it was well done. I think the motif itself, with all that out of the way, sounded like someone working through a heartbreak and was trying to sort of communicate to the other person what was going on with them. I think part of that came from the guitar solo. Like, you were screaming out to the person after having been so patient with them in the initial exploration. You just feel like screaming, right? So I get that. From a tonal perspective, it made sense, and I am satisfied with what I heard. And I think that, to be honest with you, I don't really think we needed to do anything differently with the motif there either. It's just really well considered, and I'm not biased. It's just, I mean, if you can hear something that they did wrong, let me know in the comments. With the motif reflecting the story like that, the vocals being appropriate for it, the song being compelling the whole way through, basically, especially with that pause there near the end there after the solo, just allowing space to kind of come back in with that final chorus, it was stunning. There's such control and understanding of the core fundamentals of music theory and composition, but also live performance here on display, that is very, very satisfying to be a witness to. But it's also the studio recording, the mixing, mastering. Now, granted, this is a live performance, so you're obviously not in an actual studio. But I think outside of that, you know, it's great indication of their actual talent and skill as an act, because it can be very difficult to be just as good, if not better, or whatever. It can be good to equate difficult, should I say, to equate the live performance to a studio one, because studio performances are often far more controlled environments where you can retake stuff as many times as you need to, etc. With live, you get one chance, and they personified the concept of putting in the work to make it a great experience for everyone. It was very polished and professional, commercial grade there. The vocals, guitar, bass, keys, everything had great presence within the mix. There was dynamic range to it, so things weren't squashed throughout the time. There were change of perceived loudness. Things were nice and wide in the stereo field, with things placed in interesting positions that were not necessarily expected or predictable to kind of make it a unique listening experience. Things were nicely balanced within the frequency spectrum, with no resonant frequencies that I could hear, making it very smooth to listen to without any weird sort of note choices or edgy chromatics to get stuck on. I think finally it was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled. And ultimately, it's just another great track that I've gotten to listen through by the people who, you know, support the channel via the Patreon. I appreciate them putting tracks through for me to listen to, because if we're honest, I probably wouldn't have gotten access to these musicians beforehand, and I would have missed out on things that were really special. So the patrons that are watching this, thank you very much for your support on the channel, as well as the people who are not patrons. Thank you for your support on the channel. But anyways, thank you for watching this review of this track from Zhang Hui Mei titled Water Blue Tears. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show us some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SC Patrons video. Spiderhands out.